Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel with myself, Isabella. Thank you so much for joining me here today. If you're new, my name's Isabella. I am a British graduate of the Ballet Academy and I danced with the Mikhailovsky Ballet and Eiffel Ballet as a soloist. I'm now a full-time coach and mentor and creator of balletwithisabella.com, where I share elite classes and courses to get where you want to be with your dancing. So today I thought we'd talk about how we can recover after taking time off and how we can recover technique after taking time off. You know, time off is hard. Holidays were always quite hard for me. The idea of holidays was a little bit daunting because obviously when the holidays approach you think,
I'm going to lose my fitness, I'm going to lose what I've worked for this term, and I'm going to have to start from scratch.
You know, holidays don't have to be time that you take complete time off. As athletes, you know, we have a responsibility to keep our bodies in good nick and keep them healthy, but our bodies also need rest. You know, after such an intense period of training, it's really important that we rest the body and we give it the adequate rest that it needs. So time off is good as well. We can just do a few things to help us keep our condition as fit as possible whilst resting it at the same time, so that when we actually do get back to our full-time training, the climb back to fitness isn't so large, you know, as it would be if we took complete time off. So the first thing I would say is don't stop completely. So when you're on holiday, you know, you don't have to stop everything. We should keep up the stretching and keep up some conditioning. We can do Pilates, we can do floor bar. I personally always loved swimming. Like, I just really enjoyed swimming, so I would utilize the off period, as you could call it, to do other things I enjoyed and to cross train. I would always do cross training that was very suited and suiting to my ballet, but also to my body type. So I wasn't one that massively enjoyed running, for example. Like, I'm just not a runner. And swimming utilizes the whole body and all the muscles in the body, similar to ballet. Like, it's, you know, so that's why I found it so suitable for me. As well as stretching. Stretching is really important to do when you're taking time off because, you know, flexibility is one of the first things that can go, and feeling very stiff is just not enjoyable. So keep your stretching up. If you're injured and taking time off, this is slightly different because obviously there are certain things that you won't be allowed to do. What you can do is just do the best you can. If your foot's injured and you're not allowed to be on your feet for 8 weeks, that's not to say you can't train your core. You know, that's not to say you can't do some Pilates exercises that aren't on your feet. Probably you could swim as well if it wasn't too aggressive and wasn't too painful. When you're injured and you're taking time off, I would often try to simulate what my peers were doing back in school. So if they were doing maybe, you know, 6 hours of dancing a day, maybe 3 hours of those 6 are more intense. I would then try to simulate that in a way, at least try to simulate, you know, some of the hours. So obviously, you know, there's only so much you can do, especially when you're in the early stages of recovering. But towards the end of recovering from an injury, that's when you can start to simulate the day a little bit better. In the early stages, you know, I'm thinking Pilates and floor bar and probably a bit of swimming. That's it, you know, gently does it basically. But this is if you're recovering from an injury and looking to get back after that. We'll probably do a separate video on that specifically. But again, if you're on holiday, enjoy the holiday, enjoy the time off, especially going back to people who do summer schools. Like, it's okay that the summer school is only 3 to 4 hours a day. I've just trained so hard at school. I don't want a day that's like 6 hours long so I can't actually enjoy my holiday. Like, it's different if you're in a small school or not really in a school and you want some proper training. In that regard, summer schools are great, but I was in a proper institution, so I didn't want that kind of day anymore. I just wanted to do stuff that would just keep me in a good state of fitness but would still allow me to rest and enjoy my time off. However, if the time has come that you've taken loads of time off and you haven't done much, and you know you're approaching the time to getting back to fitness for whatever reason, injury, just holiday, you just wanted some time off, then it's really important to start very, very slow. I think as dancers, we're eager people and we like to just go. Like when we get motivated to do something, it's like,
right, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do 6 hours of ballet. I'm going to do this.
Fundamentally, you'll be hobbling on day 2. So it's really important to start slowly, slower than you think you can do. So start with, a simple Pilates routine and a bit of stretching. Do that for a couple of days. Then do, Pilates, stretching, and then add some cardio in there. Do that for a couple of days. Then do that and then a ballet bar. Do that for a couple of days. And then add some center. Do you know what I mean? And then slowly but surely the build up will be better, because lactic acid is real. Lactic acid makes you so sore, my God. So you don't want to have it where you've done one massive day and then your body is completely shocked and exhausted and then you can't move for a week. That's counterproductive and that's not going to get you anywhere. So slow and steady, like the tortoise, slow and steady wins the race here. Another good way to build up is, let's say in a couple of days you're going to start jumping, then I would think, okay, on Friday we're starting jumping again. So come Wednesday, I'm going to start doing some exercises that can get me ready for those jumps. So I'm going to start to wake up the backs of my hamstrings and glutes a little bit more. I'm going to do some bridges, I'm going to do some lunges on one leg. I'm going to do some down and push up to one leg. So I'm really activating the backs of my legs. Think ahead to what's coming up so you're preparing your body for it. So it's less of a shock when it actually comes around. Same like if you're going to be doing points soon, in a few days, then I think, okay, I should do some rises in my point shoes, slowly, rises on one leg, plie, releve on one leg. So I'm really getting the body ready for what's to come. Therefore, the progression will be much smoother and your body will be able to cope better when it's actually asked to do more. Then by the end of the week, end of the period you're building up, you should have almost built up to a normal schedule again. Again, this is different if you're coming back from injury. That progression won't be a week long. It's going to be more like 2 months long. And it's really important you listen to the advice of your medical experts, your physios or your doctors about that progression. Because, coming from my own experience, after my serious back injury, which I've talked about a lot, I came back to Vaganova, in my graduation year, and they were very eager to get me ready for the graduation exam. I had done so much rehab during that time, so I had barely lost anything other than a bit of stamina, and I hadn't done that much ballet either at that point, but I had simulated, I had been very smart, and with my rehab specialist, I had simulated movements that will be required. I had strengthened those areas. I had simulated a whole day, so I had, filled my day with like 6 to 8 hours of rehab stuff and cardio, so that I was really ready and that wouldn't be a huge shock to my system. But ballet is very different. Ballet is very demanding. I hadn't done that much ballet in a long time, so I still had to progress slowly. I had to progress 10%. Now this is where things went wrong, because obviously my teacher was like,
right, we're going to do it, centre bar, you're going to do the whole thing, just be careful of course, but you're doing everything, yeah, because you're fine now, you've been off ages, you're fine now.
And I was like, yeah, it's just obviously because of such a serious injury, probably going to have to build up slowly, like 10% each day. And she was like, what? That didn't last very long. So I was just like, okay, I guess I'm doing everything. My back couldn't cope. Actually, on the day of the exam, like my back muscle sprained because it just wasn't used to the load that fast. Really important you build up slowly, especially if you're coming back from injury. I'll just share what the Vaganova schedule was like, for example, after the holidays. So obviously they know that the majority of us have not been doing much at all. I was probably the one doing the most. I would rest for the first 6 weeks. So let's say it was 8 weeks long. I would rest for the first 6 weeks, but not completely rest. I would do my stretching. Maybe I would definitely do Pilates and my floor bar, and I definitely maybe do like a ballet bar. I felt good doing it, and it was like my medicine, and it was just ticking me over, and that routine was no longer than like hour in the morning, hour at night, and it was fine. The last 2 weeks of the holidays, that's when I do some drop-in classes, which, were not Vaganova drop-in classes, so they felt like, again, like a breeze to me, just to sort of ticking me over. I'm getting ready slowly. When we got to Vaganova, obviously they think that a lot of girls have spent the whole summer off, which a lot of them did. Other than swimming, they went to the beach, they tanned, they completely rested. The Vaganova schedule is very relaxed the first week. It's basically ballet class in the morning for most days, and that's it. And then maybe towards the end of the week, we start doing pas de deux as well, especially if you're in the graduation year. That's when, we do pas de deux as well in the first week. Otherwise, they may wait till the second week. It was gradual. Even from doing just the ballet class, then the next day, we were all so sore. It was really difficult doing the next day. And so we had to get over the lactic acid buildup. So even though I'd done some conditioning and I'd done the bare minimum, really, nothing compares to the ballet classes that you get in school. So it was still a struggle. And so slow and steady wins the race. Think strategically of what you're going to have to do, in the next few days, so you can add some exercises in your routine to cater to that. My website as well can help with that. In the holidays, make that time off more enjoyable in a way by doing a sort of medicinal amount of exercise, so which still allows you to rest a lot. Like, keep your stretching up so you don't lose the flexibility, and do a nice Pilates or floor bar routine, occasionally a ballet bar. Towards the end of the holidays, add in, a ballet class that you can drop into or do online, so you're just getting ready for what's to come. And if you're injured, obviously that process is going to be a lot longer. And then towards the end of your rehab, really try to simulate the kind of day that you're going to have to do when you're back to full swing and doing things full out again. So guys, I hope that helped you, and I hope that helped you figure out maybe how you can manage your schedule on your holiday and also allow yourself to enjoy the holiday, heaven forbid. So thank you so much for watching. Leave your comments down below. Please like and subscribe so that more people can discover the channel and we can help more of you. Thank you so much, and bye for now.